Hello everyone, and welcome back to Smash Mechanics, a series I started way back in January and totally forgot about. This time we're going to talk about multipliers. I promise it's a bit more exciting than it sounds. Smash Ultimate has a lot of different multipliers, and a lot of them are not super intuitive. Some of them are universal and some of them are character specific. I'll be covering every one I know about and explain how they work. Either way, let's just get right into it. I suppose we can start with a basic one. In Ultimate, there was a multiplier added to attacks performed out of a short hop, commonly referred to as the short hop multiplier. All attacks done after a short hop will have a damage multiplier of 0.85. This applies to any time during the short hop and will go away if you double jump or full hop. This is probably one of the least interesting multipliers, it just makes moves do less damage, which does allow for some combo potential that would not exist otherwise, but aside from that, it's really not a huge factor. Rage is a multiplier added in Smash 4, and probably one of the most hated multipliers in all of Smash. If you don't know how Rage works, if you are between 35% and 150%, you will start having increased knockback to your moves. The knockback scales from no multiplier at all before 35%, and all the way up to a 1.1 multiplier at 150, meaning you have an extra 10% knockback to all moves. Now, Rage was changed a bit from Smash 4. In Smash 4 it had a max multiplier of 1.15. But in Ultimate it was lowered to 1.1. Another pretty important change was the change to moves with fixed knockback. In Smash 4, Rage applied even to moves with predetermined knockback. This made for some, shall we say, interesting kills. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But in Ultimate, Rage now only affects moves that don't use set knockback. So overall, Rage has been toned down quite a bit since its introduction. Which is fine by me, honestly. I never really minded Rage that much to begin with, but I know a lot of people had strong feelings towards it. Staling is another pretty interesting multiplier. Whenever you land a move or hit a shield, that move enters something called the staleness queue. Now, I could probably devote an entire Smash Mechanics just to the stale queue alone, but I'll try to do it justice here in any case. The staleness queue is composed of 9 slots. The first move to be landed in the match will enter the slot number 1. Then, when the next move enters the queue, the first one is pushed down into the second slot and the new one takes its place. This continues until the move has been in the queue all the way down to the 9th slot before it is removed entirely. When a move is in the stale queue, it deals less damage and knockback. However, what makes it a bit more complicated is that all the different staleness slots have individual multipliers in which the move is staled by. For example, if a move is in the stale slot number 1, the staleness multiplier is a lot harsher than it would be if the move was in slot number 9. Even if the move only appears once in the queue. So let's take Ganondorf's F-Smash as an example. If the move is in slot number 1, it only deals 36% on a full charge. However, if the move is in the 9th slot and does not appear anywhere else, it deals 39%. Here's a list of all the individual multipliers for each slot. Now, if that wasn't needlessly complicated enough, when a move enters the staleness queue in 2 individual slots, the multipliers get added together. So let's say his F-Smash is in the 1st, 3rd and 7th slot. The next time he lands an F-Smash, all of those multipliers gets added together, resulting in F-Smash only dealing 31%. So it not only depends on how many times the move is in the staleness queue, but also which of those slots the moves are in. Ganon's F-Smash can deal as little as 19% if you somehow manage to get F-Smash into all of those slots, for a total of a 0.46 times damage reduction. Lastly, there is a tiny multiplier of 1.05 damage to all moves that are currently not in the staleness queue. It does not matter if the move has been in the staleness queue at some point, as long as it's not currently in the queue. Yeah, staling is kinda weird, so let's just move on. Another multiplier new to Ultimate is the 1v1 multiplier. In a match where there are no items and there are only 2 fighters, all damage will be increased by 1.2. Now, this multiplier works a little differently than most others. It is one of the only multipliers in the game to only increase the amount of damage taken, not given. This means the additional damage is added after all other calculations, resulting in it not actually mattering for things like comboing or killing. The only real exception for this is with multi-hits, seeing how the first hits of the moves deal more damage, resulting in the opponent being at a higher percentage than they would be otherwise when the launcher hit comes out. Because of the way the damage is added after all other calculations, it does have some not so obvious side effects that I feel is worth talking about. For example, armor, reflectors, and counters are not affected by the damage multiplier. This applies not only to the reflector's break threshold, but also the projectiles they reflect. The same thing is true for shields. They do not get worn down any faster than they would otherwise. One of the only exceptions is K. Rool's armor, which does actually break faster with the multiplier on, because, I mean, he's a low tier, what did you expect? However, the multiplier does affect magnifying glass damage for some reason. Yeah, out of all the things they decided to leave out of this multiplier, this is one of the things they let through. I don't really get it, but you know, Sakurai. Crouch cancelling is a pretty well-known multiplier. In Ultimate, if you're crouching, you take 0.85 times less knockback, and have reduced hit stun as well. Crouch cancelling has changed a lot over the different iterations of Smash, and back in Melee, the effect was actually way more pronounced. However, in Smash 4 and Ultimate, its usefulness is quite limited. Often the reduced knockback and hit stun is not really enough to make a difference, and at high percentages you still get launched. In almost every situation where crouch cancelling would be slightly useful, a good old shield will do a lot better. I suppose I should mention burying as well. In Smash 4, if you were buried and got hit by a move, it would be reduced by 0.7 times its initial knockback. For some reason, they thought that it would be a great idea to remove this multiplier, and in Ultimate, as long as the move is strong enough to break the bury, you take full knockback. This makes mashing even more relevant, which is always just a bad thing. Mashing sucks, but more on that another time. For the time being, I guess I'll just enjoy being stuck in Inkroll for 12 minutes and then die at 80. Those are most of the notable universal multipliers. So I guess we can take a look at the one that is character specific. Probably the most notable character specific multiplier is Lucario's Aura. Aura is, a little complicated. It's very similar to Rage in how it works, except that the values are obviously a little different. The main difference between the two is that Aura is a damage multiplier and not a knockback multiplier. When Lucario is at 0, he has a minimum Aura multiplier of 0.66. It then increases until it hits base power at 35% with no multiplier at all, to a 1.6 damage multiplier between 65% and 109%, where he reaches max aura and then the 1.6 multiplier. Now that part is fairly easy to understand, but we're not quite done yet, because there is a little thing called stock aura, which makes things a bit more complicated. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'll give you a quick rundown. Lucario receives another multiplier upon aura, depending on how many stocks he is ahead or behind. This multiplier is a little strange in how it works. The simplified version is that when Lucario is behind by 1 or 2 stocks, his aura effectively starts to increase faster. This is because the max aura cap is lowered. When behind by 1 stock, its cap is at around 170, and when behind by 2, it caps as low as 131%. It also allows his max aura to reach as high as a 1.7 multiplier when at max aura and behind by 2 or more stocks. Stock aura also works against you when you are ahead by 1 or more stocks. It doesn't make the cap higher, but instead just makes the aura multiplier weaker. In matches with more than one opponent, it gets even more crazy, but honestly, who cares about ultimate doubles? And I kinda wanna wrap this up now anyways. I'm sure there are more multipliers I did not touch on in this video, but I think I've covered the biggest ones. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover for next time. I kinda wanna open this series up to be a little bit more open in terms of video subjects. So in the future, I might want to cover some topics that are not just hard facts from the game. But I guess we'll wait and see until I get around to that. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.